Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 95 of the 100 Days Python Programming Challenge. There are 5 more days to go, and the topic for today is setting up our Flask application with SQLAlchemy. Today, you would learn how to configure Flask to integrate with SQLAlchemy, how to define a user model, how to initialize your SQLite database for a solid foundation in web application development. It is day 95. 5 more days to go. Hello there, and welcome to day 95 of the 100 Days Python Programming Challenge. We're wrapping up. It's ending. It's amazing. It has been so amazing. So, today I will talk about the SQL alchemy with Flask. And if you're wondering that what is the SQLAlchemy, it is a Python 2 tags. It is powerful OL mapper that gives application developers the full power and flexibility of SQL, and it is a Flask extension that has support for the SQLAlchemy to your Flask application. So today, what are we going to do? We're going to configure Flask to use the SQLAlchemy. We're going to define a user model, and we're going to automatically create table in our local SQLite database. So at the end of today, we're going to have a user table, and we'll be able to build actual sign in and login features. That is what we'll do tomorrow. So let's start with today. So first I want to have my app.py file, and then the next thing is to install the Flask SQL Alchemy. So how do you install it? You use pip install flask underscore SQL Alchemy. So this would install SQL Alchemy, and it is installed. That was fast. And next we're going to have basic Flask and then the SQL Alchemy configuration. So first let's import our Flask, and let's import our SQL Alchemy. So from Flask, we're importing Flask, and then from Flask SQL Alchemy, we're importing SQL Alchemy. That is what we installed. So next, our app equals to Flask equals to name, and we have to configure our database connection string. So I'll use the app config, and I want to have the SQL Alchemy database URI and also the SQL track modification. So to do this, we use the SQLite my database.db. This is how I'm configuring my database connection string. So app config, and then the SQLAlchemy database URI, and it is SQLite my database.db, and then the track modification, I'm setting it to first. So now let me initialize my SQL instance. So I would have my database, which is db equals to SQLAlchemy app. So let's have that. And thirdly, let's create a database table. But first, let me explain because I'm sure you are wondering that what is this SQL database URI? We're using a local SQLite database file. So this file, that is my database.db, and then this database SQL Alchemy app, it creates an SQL Alchemy instance linked to our Flask app. So now let's create our user model. So we'd have a class user, and then we would have our custom table name, because a database, we have to have a table in our database. And I want to specify the columns that I want in my database. I want to have an ID column, I want to have a username column, an email column, and a password column. And I also want to specify what type of data do I want in each column. Is it a string? Is it an integer? And do I want it to be unique, like unique for every user? And is it possible that I might have null values in my table? So this is all I will have to specify in my user model. So I would have the class name. My class name is user. My table name is users. And then this is my ID, my username. You see, it's going to be an integer. And this is my primary key, and this is my username. It is going to be unique. Everything is going to be unique for all users, and it's not possible for it to be null. So nullable is false because you're trying to sign in. Username, email, and has to be unique. The next thing that I would have is this, and then this REP function. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a method in Python class that controls how the object appears when it is printed out or when it is shown in the cursor. So it is mainly used for debugging, and you can see a quick human readable description of an object rather than a random memory address. So I'll be able to see the username. The next thing that I want to have is a simple home page, a simple route that just I'm just using it to confirm that the app is running. So I just have like a home page that just returns that the database is all set up and the user table is created. So now let's create our table. I'm going to use the db.createAll to ensure that the Flask application is active and allows to create table. I'm sure you noticed that I have the with app.app context, and I have the db create all and the app run debug true. Usually when we want to run, we don't have this thing in between. But then this ensures that the Flask application context is active, allowing the database create all to properly create the database table before the application starts running with the app.run debug or debug true. So now let's run the Python app.py, and you will notice something when we do run it, because we created my database.db. We would have the file that we can open to see our database table. So Python app.py, and notice here we have an instance folder, and when you open the folder we see my database.db, and when we click on it we see our table. But to be able to visualize this table, you might not be able to see it. Go to the extension and install SQLite SQLite viewer. Yeah, so this if you have this installed, then you can be able to visualize your table like this. So you see, we've been able to create a simple database using SQLAlchemy. And now we're going to be able to fill in the database that we created with our ID, our username, email, and password, and so on and so forth. So our database table is ready. Tomorrow, let's build our sign up and login form. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you have any questions. The link to the code is in the description to my GitHub. Download it, try it out, and let me know if you have any question. See you tomorrow.